Hey guys, Eric here, aka Taiga Flosion, and welcome back to another video. So this past weekend we had Bad Blood, capping off a very fun weekend for the WWE as we saw an absolute banger, as we saw a resurgence of tag team wrestling within the Fed as the Guerrillas of Destiny took on DIY and the Street Profits. It had everything you could want, especially with the talent involved. Ford and Dawkins looking like their old selves out there. It really gave me some of those black and gold vibes, and honestly reminded me of the, what was it? The TakeOver Orlando match, I believe, where DIY faced off against AOP and FTR. The stipulation being a ladder match definitely added a lot to the excitement. And of course, you know, the aftermath. It seems like right now GOD are on a crash course with the Motor City Machine Guns as they look to debut soon. I'm definitely really excited to see that. So we're definitely going to get a lot of fun matches from that too. And of course, the other banger, the match of the year contender between CM Punk and Drew McIntyre inside of Hell in a Cell. What can I say besides, oh my god. Not only from a storytelling perspective, but just from a brutality perspective, this match absolutely ruled. It's been such a long time since we've gotten to see this amount of violence shown on WWE television, and Punk and Drew bled absolute buckets. Believe me, I had my doubts, especially wondering how Triple H was going to respond after one of the best matches to ever use the steel cage concept in Hangman Page versus Swerve Strickland. I mean, those two absolutely took what that match was about and brought it up to a new level. I was wondering how it would feel watching a WWE style Hell in a Cell match after that, but I was blown away. And some of the spots they were taking, like, keep in mind, Punk is in his 40s, right? Over here taking suplexes from the top of the turnbuckle onto the outside through a table, and then you have Drew McIntyre hitting claymores and landing tailbone, and then you have Drew McIntyre landing tailbone first onto the steel steps. Like, that's some real shit right there. That's real graps. I most definitely want to see more stuff like that, especially when Raw moves on to Netflix. I feel like without the restrictions that they currently have, getting stuff like that on TV, it's gonna tickle my funny bone, if you know what I mean. Like, that's gonna be whew. But of course, that wasn't the only show taking place over the weekend, as GLEAT hosted their version mega show in Osaka, and that show had the Rascals defeating Black Generation International, made up of Kaito Ishida and Tetsuya Izuchi, to become the G Infinity Tag Champs. Of course, the Rascals just coming off their NXT run. Speaking of bangers, you know, another banger was had last week when Wesley and Zachary Wentz absolutely destroyed each other. Definitely check that one out when you get the chance. And also, Ricochet was on the show with his big return to Japan, and Ricochet and Vikingo absolutely popped off against each other. Sometimes I really do enjoy, you know, flippy shit. I just don't like when it's overdone and just has no meaning to the match, but you know, sometimes you can look past that, right? And I feel like it's nice to see Ricochet kind of break out and really start to feel more like himself a little bit. And I definitely want to see him pick up that pace again, especially since he's going into a triple threat with Ospreay and Takeshita. The last match he had with Ospreay, the one-on-one on Dynamite, that honestly to me felt a little flat. I'm hoping that he actually gets to showcase a little more. But yeah, you know, that's besides the point, right? The topic of this video is on the man who was in the main event of this show, and that man being Katsuhiko Nakajima.
Okay, I pull up, hop out at the after party. You and all your friends say they love that get naughty. Sipping on that hit, I know you love that Bacardi.
Alright, so our story begins in July of 2023, when at the time, the Noah sign, Katsuhiko Nakajima, defeated All Japan's ace and Kento Miyahara. You would think that momentum would lead you to greater pastures, right? But no. Katsuhiko Nakajima fails to reach the finals of the N1 tournament that year, and then within the next few months, he ends up having his final match in Noah as he teamed up with Go Shiozaki in the final match of their tag team together known as Access.
まあそうね、同じアクセスの塩崎剛は当然だね。まあ今回 N1 という、舞台で、リーグ戦だからこそできる試合だから、まあ、星取りとかも大事なことかもしれないけど、まあ、純粋に塩崎剛を存分に味わいたいし、味わわせてやりたいね。まあ、今回リーグ戦だから、まあ、シングルマッチなわけです。だから自分個人を存分に出せる試合ができると思うし、まあ、世間もそうだけど、ファンに対しても自分という存在を示す舞台。
After that, Katsuhiko Nakajima leaves Noah and then rocks up in All Japan, and he beats Yuma Aoyagi for the Triple Crown title. And then after that, he ends up winning the Tag League with his partner at the time, Hokuto Omori. This seems to have pleased a certain Simon Inoki, as he ends up posting photos with Katsuhiko Nakajima. So around this time, now that we're in the fall of 2023, Shinsuke Nakamura is currently embroiled in a feud in the main event with Seth Rollins in an attempt by the WWE to try and get Kazuchika Okada, of all people, to sign with the company. But it also seems like they have their paws elsewhere in Poro, as there are rumors that are starting that Katsuhiko Nakajima is actually interested in signing with WWE. And then at around this time too, Katsuhiko Nakajima gets a little bit of a gimmick change. You know, instead of coming out with K-Force, he ends up using the Inoki phrase Tokan style, and he ends up changing his gimmick into being a New Japan heel in All Japan.
中島勝彦の闘魂スタイルで染めてやるよ。
新町久志さんからこの入場曲で鼻に血をゆくことを快諾されました。その新馬さん、勝彦は短く髪を刈り上げ、そして最高峰のベルトを。
And this leads us to a funny point where Katsuhiko Nakajima ends up beating Kento Miyahara again, just to shortly after end up losing to Charlie Dempsey during his excursion from NXT. That then leads into a title match with Charlie Dempsey, which Nakajima ends up winning and retaining the title. But Katsuhiko Nakajima then quote-unquote vacates his title to then win it back. But of course, this is a classic angle that's been used a lot in Japanese wrestling. Various All Japan personnel leave, and then all of a sudden start speaking about an evil mastermind that controls All Japan and Katsuhiko Nakajima. And no, for long-time viewers of this channel, I'm not talking about the satellite man, the satellite controllers that have been haunting Hyper Misao for the past few years. After that, the IGF, the Inoki Genome, the Bloods from the IGF. Oh shit, they're coming after me. The IGF sends a cease and desist letter to Nakajima and All Japan to tell him to stop using the Tokan style phrase, removing a lot of the aura he has. We then get to the Austin Aries incident on March 30th, 2024, when Nakajima lost his title to Yuma Nzai while giving him absolutely no offense in the match and then no selling the finish afterward. This ends up tying into a work, and this work being an angle where he ends up disappearing for 3 months, and then he uploads a video where he's kayfabe homeless, and then if it couldn't get any funnier, he is then kayfabe blacklisted. On August 1st, 2024, he's invited to GLEAT and wins the UWF title on his first night. He then challenges Suwama, you know, big vet in the pro scene, and then All Japan makes it very clear that Suwama will not be fighting Nakajima. On August 21st, 2024, Nakajima loses in a 3v1 handicap match, and then that leads us here. That ends up leading us here to where Nakajima is embroiled in his current feud with Funaki. DDT, you know, coming out of nowhere, sprinkles in, you know, a little bit of pettiness. DDT ends up uploading a match where Katsuhiko Nakajima ends up knocking out Tetsuya Endo. But yeah, as you can see, bro has lived a lot of lives in a short amount of time. He has not only been homeless, blacklisted, he no-sold the finish, he vacated his title, won that title back. He then gets a cease and desist from the IGF, and then shows up in GLEAT, and then wins the world title, their world title, on his first night there. Bro has been off the Percocet, off the Somas. It's just so funny to me that this is just casually all the lore that he's built up within a year. That's about it for this video. Hopefully you guys did enjoy this nice little dump. My next wrestling video for the time being is definitely going to be a little roundup of a lot of the Joshi stuff going on right now, as I definitely wanted to start, you know, talking about Joshi again. I had a Wrestle Princess 5 video in the works, but that got changed. For now, I'm putting the Joshi video. I'm going to be like compiling, you know, some of the bigger matches in with Tej, Stardom, and then Marigold, just in the one video. But yeah, hopefully you guys look forward to that. But for now, that's going to be it for me here, and then see you guys in the next one. Bye bye.
세계 저점도 맞춰내 재빠른 계획도 허점없이 완벽한 판도에서 춤춰 내 플랜대로 keep going. But this life is regular. 승리를 너무 과식했지 배불러. 산책도 할게 뭐 이쯤에 뚫려. 우리는 주로 나머지 전부 Neil Armstrong. Yeah 안 되는 것 없이 I do it. Just pull out my trigger I got that. I'ma pop take a shot, chase it down my girlfriend by one night snipe them.
Filling up my truck, yeah, you want that ride? Boom. Hit you like a truck, I'ma make you fly.
Vamos, I know that you want it, boom. Lobos, we cannot stop haunting, boom. Ratatata, I'ma make